Welcome to Optimal Game State. Once again, we're doing another monthly figure. Now, this figure is kind of cool. It's a bit of a weird one because sometimes GW will actually release proper monthly figures, but in this case, they just sent out a box to each of their stores, and you go in and you get something out of the box. So these are the Neurogons. In this case, when I went in, the leader was already gone, so that was one with the cool brain buggy stuff in the middle. So I just picked one of the others. I If I was a proper painter content creator, I would do a different scheme to the two schemes that I have done already. But I just really like this scheme, and it's nice and it's simple, and I kind of like the idea of kind of teaming them all together. Maybe eventually, some point, I might actually do a Tyrannid, maybe Warband or something, a kill team, who knows? But not yet. So I'm going to do this guy the same. He is kind of cute. If you, oh, can I do this as a pointer? If you look here, so these are armor panels over where the eyes would be. So that's going to be in red, and the lower jaw is similar. So it's going to be the kind of the armor over rather than the normal. But the weird thing about it is there's a little bug attached to him. So can we get that zoomed in? So this thing at top is actually a separate entity, and you can see it's clasped on with little claws. Where are they? Yeah, claws there, claws there, claws there, there. So it's a separate creature. I'm going to take this bit here, which are kind of protrusions at the side, and we're going to do that in the bright blue. So it's the same as we have the the techie parts or the tongue. So that will indicate that this is kind of the receptacle, the receiver for the brain bug to give out the commands. But everything else we're going to do the exact same. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be starting with skeleton contrast. Obviously, I've just moved it over to a bottle. Then, ooh, is it? Oh, it's Nazgrak yellow is used in some of the joins. So the little sections in there, and I think under the neck, there's a few bits on across the pieces. So you can see here, see the knees and those extra bit of joins. Go in the darker yellow, and then we use Snakebite Contrast to mix with a little bit of black, I think it is, to mark out the little spots that just happen at the edges. So relatively straightforward. We're then going to go in with Blood Angels Red, and we're going to do the Carapace. Um, Now, the reason this is a little bit of a disappointment is that we're not going to be doing anything new. We've already done these two videos. So the two videos for the previous two guys, which all the techniques are there. We're not really showing you anything new or interesting. So I thought to kind of make to upgrade things, what I might do is I might show you some of the things I am working on separately. So here's a Legio Imperialis Solar Auxilia tank. So this bad boy just got undercoated in a tan color. So yeah, I have a Vallejo IDF, no, Israeli sand. Maybe IDF Israeli sand. It's just a color. And I spread it on as a base. I sprayed something else on, and I did a light dry brush with something light. So they're just tan colors. And the guide that I was looking at actually suggested using. Which one was it? It was one of the kind of standard GW paints. Yeah, Zandri Dust. So if you're looking for a color, Zandri Dust, and then highlight it, dry brush it in ivory. And then here I've gone in with, this is a mix of dried bark and a Black Templar contrast, just to give it something to work with. Anyway, so that's one of the things I'm working on. So I've got four of these babies, and I've got two of these. So basically everything from the box set for the solar, we'll basically put down some colors. We'll do some red stripes, I think maybe some blue stripes or green. We'll do some of the panels. We're going to do lots of the metallics to get them down. Then I'll do the decals, and then I will drench it in a 50-50 Basilicanum contrast and contrast medium mix, which is what I use on all of the epic scale models. I just think it gives it a kind of grey, weathered, and then effect over everything, and then it sinks into the recesses as well. So I just think it looks really good. I also have two of these babies. So these are the old resin models for the Arvis lighters. These are not the new plastic ones. Um, they're fine. The resin models are fine. So I've sprayed underneath with a light blue and up above with a grey, which is how I have done my previous um, Aeronautica Navy vehicles. What we're going to be doing then is we're going to be putting on some spot contrast. Sorry, not contrast, but spot colors for like red stripes or blue stripes, depending on what we decide to go with. And again, we'll pick out the silver details. For these canopies, what I like to do is I'll paint it in a good white or a good light grey. And then I like to put one of the contrasts over it. It's the aromatic ethermatic blue over it. It just looks like a really, really good window. So that's what we'll be doing with those guys. I may or may not do them on video. I think I'll probably try to get through the basics. I have been hobby locked. I'm not sure if anyone else uses the expression, but it's certainly a problem that I encounter. So 3 weeks ago, I started on these bad boys. So these are Chaos Cultists. And as you can see, I've gotten some very nice results. So I'm quite happy with the models that I have got done. But I found myself looking at the four that were sitting on the painting desk, and I just went and watched some TV instead. I just couldn't face going back to them. So I think there was 1, 2, 3, 4. I finished them off yesterday just to try and get them clear. I'm going to put this off to the side. I've locked down the painting scheme that I want to do, so it's not that I don't know what to do. Although we might have to do some weird things with the bigger demon-esque ones. It's just I kind of lost interest in it, and it hobby locked me. So I was halfway through a project, and because I was halfway through a project I didn't really want to do, I didn't do anything. So these monthly figures are a great way for me to break out of this. It's a little bit of something different to do, a little bit more of an option. I also have picked up a few more things. If you're interested in Warcry, this is where this comes in. So I have always I regularly talk about building out a Ulfenkarn campaign for Warcry. And I've painted the full Curse City box set. I've painted up the Hexbane Hunters, Witch Hunters. I've painted up those Crimson something, that Vampire Warband from Underworlds. I've got many Night Haunts. I don't have much of the I don't think of any of the Flesh Eater Courts. That might be something to look at later. But yeah, I wanted to keep expanding this out. So if you look at my Patreon, I have got a template that I've started working on how this is going to look. The idea is that as a player, you are fighting your way through Ulfenkarn with the eventual goal of taking out Radakar. As part of that, we do want to have some stage battles where you fight against notable characters. So here we've got Kritza and Lady Annika. This is the generic Vampire Lord, but there is actually a named version for it in Ulfenkarn. So the Night Wars box set, which I haven't got, did give some details on giving a name. Anyway, these are all characters. What I want to do is I want to paint them up, make profiles for them, and then make a fixed scenario with the idea of um, playing it with someone, probably my brother, where he'll come in with whatever warband he has that are the good guys and face off against a couple of stage battles. If he wins, he gets a benefit. If he doesn't win, he doesn't get a benefit. We might look at some mechanics, like the Soulbound Ulfenkarn does talk about, or Soulbound generally does talk about. There's a threat level in it. I don't think it's called threat. I think it's called something else. And the Curse City box set does have the various numbers like fear and control that you're trying to balance and try to keep things going. So I have that. We also picked up, as part of the bigger purchase, we don't really care about Dawnbringers. We don't really care about this vampire, but I think she is quite cool. I quite like her. I do actually have a Egyptian base roller somewhere, so we're going to do some fun stuff with her. But doggos and bats. So these are the standard trolls for the undead, and I think they will make great pieces. Specifically with her shtick is kind of bats or maybe mosquitoes. I'm not entirely sure. Hmm. Oh my god, and I do should also, when I'm doing these, I should also pull out the Warhammer Plus vampire as well. Should be a good addition to it. So I've got lots of Warcry projects to work on, and as part of that, I have been looking at solo rules as well, because I think it might be good to have a campaign like this where you move from fixed battle to fixed battle with the goal. Oh, and also if we include some AI rules, it'll mean you'll be able to play it yourself. You won't necessarily need to have someone with you. Right now on screen, I am working on a Titanicus video. No, not Titanicus. Legions Imperialis video, but we are looking at the Titans. I'm trying to get my head around what's actually worth bringing and what isn't. Because it is a bit of a tricky one. These Titans are big, they're expensive, but are they worth it? And I think maybe sometimes. Kind of depends what you're up against. I think if your opponent has brought tons of infantry, maybe your Titan is going to stride through, wreck some buildings, but not really have much of an impact on the game. Whereas if you have two Titans, then one of your Titans will be able to take out the other Titan and immediately bring back his points. We'll work on that. Today is a Sunday. I'll probably sort out the script this evening and tomorrow, and get it recorded tomorrow evening so we can get it on Tuesday. That's the plan. For the rest of this, what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to eat my waffles, drink my coffee, and then we're going to paint this sky. So, be back in a second. And that is us done. So apologies for the quite bad focusing. I was trying out a new camera, didn't work great, but model is done. I've passed it over to the Warhammer store in Dublin, which you can go in and check it out if you're in the area. I did also manage to get my Legion Imperialis tanks and aircraft done. Really, really simple. Once I got the base colors down, got a few transfers down, I drenched them in Basilicanum contrast, which like sinks into the crevices and gives this pretty nice effect. So very happy with that. Anyway, thank you for looking, thank you for listening, and have a great week. Thanks for making it all the way to the end. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Each week I put up a new video talking about one of Games Workshop's specialist games. The goal is always to try and make the best possible two-player experience. If this is something you'd find interesting, please subscribe to the channel and comment to let me know what you'd like to see in future.